When you think of the 1963 Chevrolet Impala, you might picture a stylish cruiser meant for comfortable highway drives. But there was one rare version that wasn't designed for cruising at all. Hidden in Chevrolet's lineup was the Z11, a factory-built drag racing monster that looked like a regular Impala, but packed one of the most powerful engines Chevrolet had ever created. From the outside, it might have looked like any other Impala rolling off the showroom floor, but this was actually Chevrolet's secret weapon in the ongoing horsepower wars of the 1960s. While regular Impalas were taking families to drive-in movies, the Z11 was busy destroying records at drag strips across America. The most fascinating part? You couldn't just walk into a dealership and buy one. You had to be in the know. And even then, Chevrolet might not sell you one unless you could prove you were going to race it. This was more than just a souped-up Impala. It was Chevrolet's way of getting around GM's official racing ban while still competing with Ford and Mopar in the increasingly popular world of drag racing. The Z11 package transformed the family-friendly Impala into something that would make even the most hardcore hot rodders take notice. And despite looking mostly stock from the outside, nearly every panel ahead of the windshield was made of lightweight aluminum, a feature that wouldn't become common in car manufacturing for another 50 years. In 1963, while Ford and Mopar were dominating the drag strips with their factory lightweight race cars, Chevrolet needed an answer. Their competitors were building special versions of their cars with stripped-out interiors, lightweight body panels, and massive engines. Ford had their Galaxy Lightweight, and Mopar was dominating with their Max Wedge cars. Even though GM had officially withdrawn from racing, they weren't about to let their rivals have all the fun. Through a special ordering process, known only to select dealers and serious racers, Chevrolet quietly began offering the Z11 package for the Impala. The Z11 wasn't just another performance package, it was a complete transformation of the Impala. Chevrolet's engineers went through the entire car with one goal, making it as light and fast as possible. The hood, front fenders, front bumper, and even the bracket assemblies were all made from aluminum, shaving off crucial pounds. Inside, they removed everything that wasn't absolutely necessary. The heater was gone, the radio was gone, even the sound-deadening material was stripped away. They even drilled holes in the frame rails to save weight. The rear seat was still there, but it was made of lightweight materials. Every ounce mattered in the quest for quarter-mile dominance. But what really set the Z11 apart was what was hiding under that aluminum hood. While regular Impalas were making do with 409 cubic inch engines, the Z11 packed a specially developed 427 cubic inch V8. This wasn't just a bored-out 409. This was a completely different animal, with a unique W-shaped combustion chamber design that would help it become one of the most legendary engines in drag racing history. The story of the Z11's engine is where things get really interesting. Chevrolet's engineers started with the familiar 409 block, but made some crucial changes. They increased the bore and stroke to create 427 cubic inches of displacement. But that was just the beginning. The engine received dual 4-barrel Carter AFB carburetors sitting on top of an aluminum intake manifold. The combustion chambers were completely redesigned with a unique W-shaped pattern that helped the engine breathe better at high RPMs. The forged steel crankshaft was precisely balanced, and the connecting rods were made of heavy-duty forged aluminum. The result? An engine that officially made 430 horsepower, but that number was about as accurate as a carnival fortune teller. In reality, racers who dyno tested these engines found they were making closer to 500 horsepower. To put that in perspective, this was in an era when a typical family car made around 200 horsepower. This wasn't just a hot rod engine. It was essentially a race engine that happened to come with a warranty. The transmission options were equally serious. Buyers could choose between a close ratio 4-speed manual or a specially prepared automatic transmission. Both were beefed up to handle the massive power output of the 427. The rear end featured a heavy-duty differential with special gearing options specifically chosen for drag racing. The Z11 also received unique springs and shocks that were tuned to help the car transfer weight to the rear wheels during hard launches. Every part of the drivetrain was engineered with one purpose: getting down the quarter mile as fast as possible. On the drag strip, the Z11 Impala proved it was worth every penny of its hefty price tag. Stock Z11s were running the quarter mile in the low 11-second range right off the showroom floor, a time that was almost unheard of for a factory-built car in 1963. To put that in perspective, it was nearly 2 seconds faster than a standard 409 Impala, which was already considered a fast car. Professional racers like Dave Strickler and Dyno Don Nicholson took their Z11s into the high 10-second range with just minor modifications. The Z11's success wasn't just about raw power, it was about the complete package. The aluminum front end meant that about 100 pounds had been removed from the nose of the car, helping it transfer weight to the rear wheels better during launch. The stripped-out interior and other weight-saving measures brought the total weight down to around 3,500 pounds, making it about 300 pounds lighter than a standard Impala. Every aspect of the car was optimized for drag racing, right down to the special rear springs that helped prevent wheel hop during hard launches. But perhaps the most remarkable thing about the Z11 was how it managed to dominate while flying under the radar. Remember, this was during GM's official racing ban. While Ford and Mopar were openly advertising their racing successes, Chevrolet had to pretend the Z11 was just another Impala option package. There were no flashy advertisements, no promotional materials bragging about quarter-mile times. The only way to know about the Z11 was to be connected to the racing community or to know someone who knew someone at a Chevrolet dealership. This air of mystery only added to the car's legend. In total, only 57 Z11 Impalas were ever built, making it one of the rarest and most desirable Chevrolets ever produced. Of those 57 cars, only about 50 went to actual drag racers. The rest were sold to lucky enthusiasts who somehow managed to convince their dealers they needed one. The production run was so small that each car was essentially hand-built, with workers carefully assembling the aluminum body panels and special 427 engines. The limited production wasn't just about exclusivity, it was about making sure these cars ended up in the hands of people who would use them for their intended purpose: winning races. Today, finding a genuine Z11 Impala is like finding a needle in a haystack. Many of these cars were raced hard and eventually scrapped or modified beyond recognition. Those that survived are now among the most valuable Chevrolets ever made. Recent sales have seen Z11s commanding prices well over $300,000, with some particularly well-documented examples selling for even more. The most valuable are the ones that still have their original aluminum body panels and special 427 engines, parts that are now worth small fortunes on their own. The Z11 Impala represents a unique moment in American automotive history. It was created during a time when manufacturers were pushing the boundaries of what was possible with a factory-built car, all while technically not being allowed to race at all. It showed how creative engineering and a bit of corporate rebellion could result in one of the most extraordinary cars ever built. Whether you're a fan of drag racing, Chevrolets, or just interesting pieces of automotive history, the Z11 Impala stands as a testament to what can be accomplished when passionate engineers are given the freedom to build something truly special. These days, finding a real Z11 Impala at a car show is like spotting a unicorn. Most people walk right past them, mistaking them for regular 63 Impalas. But for those who know what they're looking at, these cars represent the ultimate combination of factory engineering and racing spirit. They're a reminder of a time when the fastest cars weren't built on automated assembly lines, but were hand-assembled by passionate engineers who found creative ways to work around corporate racing bans. The question is, though, if you had the chance, would you rather have a rare Z11 Impala or one of the more famous Mopar Max wedge cars from the same era? Let me know in the comments down below. And thank you for watching another video. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. It really helps me out.